Hello guys, my name is Ashley, and today I will show you how to install and use the outline and gradient photo effect Photoshop action. Let's start by installing the necessary add-ons. Go to the folder where you extracted the zip file, then double-click each of these files. Photoshop will automatically install them in the correct place. Here you can see the action panel with the outline and gradient action installed. If you don't see the Actions panel, go to Window, Actions. To start, we always run the Run Me First Document Preparation action. This will rename and create the layers that we need to apply the photo effect. Just select the action and click on Play. At this point, Photoshop will ask you to pick the brush tool and paint over the foreground objects. You can use any tool to help you in the process. Just make sure that the foreground objects layer is selected and to paint the layer with a 100% opaque color. After we are done painting the foreground layer, go to the Actions panel again and run the second part of the action. You can see that we have two actions here, one for image with faces in it, and the other is meant to be used with objects. Just select the one you want and click on Play. Now Photoshop will do its job, and we have to wait a little bit. This might take a while, depending on your computer. Here you can see the final default result. If you look at the Layers panel, you will see that we created a lot of layers. You can edit any one of them. To understand better what each layer does, I recommend turning them off and on again. This way you will see the difference they make in the final result. Notice that some layers has effects on it. You can edit them as you like. To change the colors, look for the gradient map layers. Then double-click on its thumbnail. The respective panel will open. Use that to edit or create new gradients for the effect. Here you can see that I included some pre-made gradients that you can use to quickly change the colors. They are separated in folders, so you know where is best to use them. For this example, I will leave everything with the default look. But here you can see how it would look with different gradients. If you want, you can add an additional effect to the default result. To do that, go to the Actions panel again and look for the additional effects. You will see that we need to run this first action before we apply more effects. That is necessary because we have to convert the layers into one smart object first. After that, the document is ready to receive the additional effects. Choose one from the list of actions and click on Play. Then run the action, add face mask for additional effects if your image has any faces in it. Notice how this action fixes the faces automatically. And just as before, the result is completely editable. You can choose any color you want. Also, you can edit the smart object by right-clicking it and choosing Edit Contents. I will show how to remove this strong light around her hair by editing the smart object. The light is coming from the base foreground layer. In this case, the mask that we created is too big. To fix that, I will pick the brush tool with the color black and paint the layer mask to hide a little bit more around her hair. Here is another filter that I forgot to talk about before. It is the surface blur on the base foreground layer. If you enable that filter, the image will look super smooth. I like to use that filter sometimes. In this case, I will leave it off. After you are done editing, press Ctrl S to save, and Ctrl W to close the smart object. Here is another example. This time I will leave the video with no cuts, this way you can see the whole process. The first thing I check is the document size. This action is optimized for 4K resolutions. So we have to use images with about 2500 to 4500 pixels wide. If we run the action with images too small, the outline effect will be too strong. If we run the action with the image too big, the outlines will be too thin. Just like I said before, you can use any tool to help you paint the foreground layer. Here I'm using the magnetic lasso tool. Note that I used the soft round brush to paint over the head, this way the selection looks smoother. On the loose hairs, I painted with a smaller brush and with the flow of the brush very low. Then I finished painting the loose hair on top of her head with the same soft round brush, but with a bigger radius and with more flow. Now I'm running the second part. It takes a while to complete. Now I will try to match the same colors I used on the main preview of this action. Notice how I'm not locked just with the gradients that is included with the action. I'm using them as a base, and editing them to look like I want. I like to use the same gradient on the gradient map edge background and gradient map edge layers, but that is not an obligation. I'm editing the background light too by lowering its opacity. Don't forget to edit the levels filter present on the base background too. Every image is different, and every image requires a different configuration. I don't stop editing until I'm happy with the result. Let's see how it looks with the oil paint additional filter. Here is the before and after. This time I will not be using the oil paint. Let's get back by pressing Ctrl Z. And here is the before and after without the oil paint filter. And that is it for today, guys. All the links for this photo effect is in the description of this video. If you have any ideas for the next photo effect, please leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.